The French Defense. In Game 1, we began by offering 2 tourists a cheese sample. They refused. We offered a pastry sample to a friend, but an opposing vendor insulted our pastries. An ice cream seller swung by and insisted they try some, but their competitor told them to buy from the grocery store instead. The local hotel manager even walked by and encouraged spending at local businesses, but the tourists did not budge. More and more shopkeepers arrived until the poor man was surrounded by every merchant within 10 blocks. Just as the tension was boiling over, a dispute broke out between 2 bakers and they stormed off. People moved around uncomfortably, but the tourists were still the center of attention. Seeing an opening, a street merchant tried to sell them a bracelet, and before they could refuse, he slipped it on their wrist. Not wanting to be confrontational, the tourists bought the bracelet and got out of there. Seeing their friend leave, the other tourists bought the stupid pastry and ran after them. With the blockage cleared up, the rest of the customers continued moving around until a musician started playing in the shop. Now, we really could have just asked the musician to stop, but instead we let them keep playing. Some of the customers did not appreciate the music, and a small scuffle left the store rather empty. At this time, I was worried that our opponent would swoop in and steal our remaining customers, but thankfully they were too focused on our 2-for-1 sale, and they closed their shop. Going into Game 2, we were met with an odd starting arrangement, and we moved towards the center. Then, 2 lovebirds decided they wanted some privacy and made their way off the board. Having seen this, our old men ran home and made rude comments about millennials on the internet. With our precious boomers sheltered away, our pieces marched forwards. The situation became more and more explosive as pieces squared off around the board, until one knight moved in just the wrong way. 4 pieces collided and were seen blasting off. Using this chaos, our opponent threatened checkmate, but we stopped it easily, leaving Miss Elizabeth to hunker down. Moving forward, we made a very sketchy exchange and tried to yoink a pawn, but we got caught shoplifting. To avoid arrest, we threw our backpack at the opponent and then went on a secret rendezvous with Queen Elizabeth. Sadly, we really needed that backpack to have a chance of winning the game, as we were low on time. But this is where the French defense comes in handy, because when you are playing the French defense, surrender is always an option. In Game 3, we started by deciding that this was a better starting position. We put our knights in a box and bishops randomly across the board. Disliking the symmetry of the position, we elected a right leader while they voted left. Then, seeing that we had different political beliefs, violence immediately broke out. Our opponent continued trying to assault us, but we focused our efforts on building a wall, and then deported their ruler.